Hey everyone, it's Nicole here today with a Leading Lady card featuring the new Teacher Lady stamps and dies from Ellen Hudson. This is part of the August release. I decided to pair these images and dies from Teacher Lady Leading Lady with Lawn Fawn Reveal Wheel Panel and insert. Now originally I thought I would use the insert that comes with the Reveal Wheel stamp set, but I decided to switch that out because I think that the Reveal Wheel Speech Bubble add-on is going to fit a lot better. You can see I'm just kind of double checking, and it looks like the sentiments from the Teacher Lady stamp set are going to fit in this better. So I'm going to tape these together, tape the die to some Neenah smooth white cardstock, and run this through my die cutting machine. This is going to be the front panel for our card today. We'll just pop out that little insert there. I'm going to double check how the Teacher Lady is going to fit. In this instance, it's maybe more of a student, I would say, to a teacher, especially with the greetings used, but you can do it however you want. Now the Reveal Wheel pieces I have stuck together with a brad, that little round piece, we put the brad through there, put the prongs through the wheel portion, and then we want to kind of line this up, and I like to temporarily adhere it with a little post-it tape once I have it lined up. There are some little kind of score lines on the Reveal Wheel, and I'm going to just kind of tape that in place with some post-it tape. I've got some foam adhesive dots already on the small wheel portion, and we're going to attach that to a background there. And I die cut my back panel from the Reveal Wheel without the wheel opening. I always like to do this because I think it gives you a really nice base to go on. Now I like to do some little pencil lines and make a quadrant for my Reveal Wheel. I find this really helps me when deciding where to stamp my sentiment. I kind of go overboard, so now I'm in each of those little quadrants. I'm just going to spin it around, line up the window, and draw that space where I need to add my greeting. Now you might be asking, how do you stamp a sentiment when you've popped up this Reveal Wheel on foam adhesive? I put it together, but it's put together with a brad, so all you have to do is push those prongs back together, pop just the wheel off, and then we can stamp our greetings from the Teacher Lady stamp set in each of those little openings. And then once we have those stamped, we can erase the pencil lines. I am using VersaFine Onyx black ink to stamp these. It's going to give you a fantastic black, very bold black greeting. The only thing you need to be careful about here is it can smear a little bit because it's a pigment ink and it stays wet a little longer. You could hit it with a heat tool if you wanted to. You could sprinkle clear embossing powder over this and heat set it if you wanted to. Or you can do what I do and just kind of carefully erase the pencil lines. Sometimes I also let it sit for a few hours and then come back and erase them. It depends on how fast I'm trying to get that card put together. So here is the 4 little greetings, or the little A+, I guess, that we're going to have show through that awesome little Reveal Wheel. I am a huge fan, a huge proponent of combining and mixing and matching our supplies. This Lawn Fawn Reveal Wheel, you may not have, initially thought of using it with the Ellen Hudson Leading Ladies, but it makes an interactive Leading Lady card so much fun. I love that the sentiment changes just by spinning that little Reveal Wheel. Really, really fun. So let's grab our background. Let's go ahead and line that brad back up, push those prongs down in place, and then we can set that aside for a little bit. The front panel of our card needs some attention, and I decided to do something that I absolutely love and I've been doing a lot of lately. Oh, let's skip real fast. I'm going to tell you guys something that I have found over time because I forget to do it almost every time I stamp these awesome leading ladies. And that is I want to stamp and die cut and then color her in. And that's because I want to use her interactive element of being able to tuck things under her arm without coloring that white space around her arm, if that makes sense. And when I get to coloring her a little later in the video, maybe that will show a little bit more what I'm talking about. But I forget every time, and I happened to remember before I started stamping the background, so I went ahead and die cut her. This also gives me a really good idea of where she's going to go on the card, so I know where all I need to fill things in. And I'm just double checking. I'm a big fan of double and triple checking everything before I actually go to stamping it or adhering it down in place, because I found that in the past I would make some pretty big blunders and it's a lot easier to just double check. So that's what I always do. Now, I did take a little bit of time off camera to position a whole bunch of the cute accessory images from the Teacher Lady stamp set. And I'm stamping these all over my card using Lawn Fawn Jet Black ink. I'm using this ink because this is a great ink for Copic coloring. We are going to completely color this panel. It may seem a little intimidating at first, but I promise it's super easy. To make this even easier, any image that is repeated, and I think I try to do 3 of everything, or 3 of most things on my card, I colored the same color. So this notebook, we're going to color this that kind of peachy red color, both of these. The book that's blue, we're going to color both of them blue. The telescope, we're going to color those gray. The coffee mug's going to be in purples and reds. The glue bottle, yellow, orange. The flashcards, green, rulers, yellow. Some of the pins are going to be orange, some are pink. There's chalk, light bulbs. I tried to use all of the images from this stamp set. I have listed the colors I'm using for the different areas of this background along the top of the screen. If at any time you're wondering exactly which colors I'm using, I have put them up there for easy reference. And I tried to color everything at once so I didn't miss anything. So for example, I colored all the light bulbs. I colored the notebooks. I colored the rulers. I colored the apples on the coffee mug. Things like that. So let's get a little bit more of this background colored, or the images on the background colored, and then we're going to go ahead and take our background colors and color in the background. Instead of trying to mask off teeny tiny images, which would be really hard for this kind of a card, I simply colored around them with my markers. It's quick and easy. Probably my most used background color of all time is aqua or some sort of a light blue. And nothing different here. I kind of kept to that. It showcases the images really nicely. So let's get those rest of those images colored in real quick, and then I'll show you coloring in that background. Really fast coloring. I tried not to worry too much about being perfect, yet I still wanted that great shading. Creating my own backgrounds is something that I have really been loving lately. It looks like pattern paper, but you've created it yourself. There's hardly anything better, in my opinion. I love taking a blank piece of paper and making something out of what was once, you know, just blank. It really is satisfying. I think it's really super fun. So there's my little green flashcards. We got some telescopes. And I'm going to just kind of start coloring. I know there's a few images that still need some color, but I wanted to get my background color on here. It really helps show me how everything's going to look. White is okay, but I really felt like I needed color. There's a lot of white space. When I'm putting this on a white card base, I just felt like it was going to be way too much white. And adding this blue-green kind of aqua color background all around everything sets off the images beautifully, plus it makes the reveal wheel panel pop off of our white card base. I am laying down a base of BG Blue-Green 11 all over, and then you could really leave it at that. If you wanted it to be pretty fast and easy, I would leave it there. I decided to add a little bit of shadowing and shading, which I really do like. I think it does even help more pop those images off the background because it kind of gives them that illusion of depth and dimension. But I'm going to add just a tiny touch of Blue-Green 13 around some of these images for shadowing and shading. And we'll show you that here in just a second. Let's go ahead and color in our telescopes. I jumped around a little bit. Once I got that color down, I was like, oh, that looks great. I was so excited. Very, very fast blending for most of these little teeny tiny images. So let's get some pink for these pins. Some purples for the coffee mug. Almost looks gray. These are, I call them purple, but they're blue colors. They're just kind of a light violet color. I really like these. But I think against the blue background, they end up looking a little gray, which is absolutely fine. Orange for some other pins. Forgot the little base of the light bulb, so let's grab that with some gray. Glue bottles. Give those a little bit more color. Couple of pencils needed a little bit too. So now we're going to grab our Blue-Green 13 and draw some little lines kind of underneath and then blend out. And what ends up happening is you really end up probably coloring over the whole thing again with Blue-Green 11 just to get a nice seamless background blended. But don't worry too much. In fact, if I had to do this again, I might be a little more intentional with my Blue-Green 13, just kind of around the edges and whatnot, and not worry about blending it quite so much. I kind of like that little bit harsher line. I think it really helps give that definition and the shadow effect that we're going for. How cute is this background? We're going to add a couple other things to the background to really make it shine. That's going to be some pin detail, especially to the notebooks, and a highlight for the apple, and glossy accents for the light bulbs and the glasses. One of my favorite things to do for glasses, and you guys probably know this if you've watched any of my videos, is to put glossy accents on those because it gives them that shine. In this case, it really finishes off those glasses. Otherwise, you're just looking through them right into the aqua background and it just looks like a frame without a lens. I like that illusion of the little bit of glossy accents because I think it really makes the glasses, which are a very simple black outline stamped image, but it makes them pop and really kind of makes them shine. It's something I love. So there is our background looking good. I love how that looks. So much fun. Look at that reveal wheel. Isn't that cute? Let's take a white pen now, and I added dots all over the background. This is what I was talking about, those finishing touches. This, I considered doing a white paint splatter, but I didn't really want splatter all over the images, so I'm doing more of an intentional splatter and making my own with a white pen. Little hard maybe to see here on camera. The photos, though, at the beginning and end of this video probably show the detail a little bit better. Just makes for a very fun background. Looks, all these little things make this look more like pattern paper, which is what I'm going for, rather than something that, even though we did make it ourselves, just kind of looks more professional, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Highlights now, light bulbs, lines of text on the books, some straight, some squiggly, highlights on the glasses, highlights on the apples on the mugs. Oh, looking good. Let's grab our glossy accents and our Ranger Multi-Matte Medium. The great thing about this speech bubble add-on is there's a frame. So we've die cut that from black cardstock, and we're going to frame up the opening, which is going to draw your eye into the sentiment even more. Then I've put foam adhesive on the background. We're going to pop our front panel in place. Let's spin that around and look how that reveal wheel works. That is looking awesome. Perfect. Love that. Taking our glossy accents now, and I'm going to put this on the glasses and the light bulbs. I decided to do it now so that I could set this aside to completely dry while I color in the teacher leading lady and the rest of the images that I'm going to use for the card. Because really now we just have her left, and then we can pop this whole thing on a card base and be finished. The colors again that I'm using to color her in, to color in her skin, to color in her hair, to color in her clothing are all listed across the top of the screen. Now I started to color in her feet, realizing a little bit later that actually we're not ever going to see those. So I did end up not coloring quite that much as far as her pants and her feet and shoes and things. I wanted this girl to have some freckles, so once I get her skin blended out the way I want it to look, I'm going to take E15, which is a little bit darker than the darkest color I used for her skin, and add some little freckles, add some R20 to pinken up her cheeks. I think freckles are really fun. And then we will color in her hair with E30, 33, 35, and 37. Just kind of feathering in all that color. I like to put the base lightest color down all over and then feather in all of the rest of my colors. I don't really blend so much as I feather and just kind of work my feathering to get a nice blend with those hair colors. Once we have her skin and hair done, let's go ahead and do her outfit. Some little bright blue pants. All the colors I'm using were used before in the background for the book, for the flashcards, for the rulers, glue, stuff like that. Doing green, yellow, and blue. I wanted everything to be really bright. Nice, fun, kind of more primary type colors. And this is what I'm talking about coloring around her arm. So you see that die line where it die cut around her arm. Instead of taking that green color I'm using for her sweater all the way down to her arm, I'm following the die line and coloring around it so it stays white. I think it gives a much better look. Like I said, I always forget to do it. I get to the point where I'm putting the card together. I usually color first and then die cut. That's why I forget. And I kick myself every single time because I always want to stamp, die cut, and then color so I still have the great white outline. Ow! I can't talk today. Outline. And so today I did that, and I think it makes a huge difference. When I get her popped up on the card, you're going to see that for sure. Isn't she cute? I just love these leading ladies. Now I'm going to adhere her with foam adhesive to the reveal wheel card base as well. I do have to tell you that something happened to a couple of files when I was filming this video, and I could not get them to import into my photo or my video editing software, and so I left them out. So you're not going to see me putting this whole panel onto the card base or anything like that, and I apologize. I stamped the turn me greeting from the reveal wheel sentiment there so that the recipient knows to turn that. But really, that's the only thing left out of the video. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for this Leading Ladies teacher card featuring the Ellen Hudson stamps and dies from the August 2018 release. The supplies I used to create this card are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Here are a couple more videos featuring Ellen Hudson stamps and dies that you might be interested in. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.